Hi everyone, this is Susan, and today I'm going to show you another technique whereby a hat that I had from one of my embellishments has been changed to match a project I was doing. I showed my group how to do this. They quite liked it, and I've promised I'll do a video to help them look at it and remember what we did. Now, before we start working with this, you need the embellishment brought in that you're going to be used. So in my case, I brought in a hat and I brought in some flowers from different digikits. Now on stencils, under my digikit, if you right mouse click in the empty area, you can say add category. Now for my very own use, I did one called hats and I did this example in there. However, because I'm now teaching, I want to do it so that I can then get rid of it. And it's going to be called training. So the category, you can call it whatever you like. I tend to do one for hats, one for alphabets. I do a category for whatever I'm working with. And I say, okay, and now I've got a category called training up here. The next thing is we need a blank sheet so we can start working. So I clicked on an insert page, went to a new page, and I'm bringing in the hat. I'm resizing it to have it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to work with my hat there. Now, the very important thing is that whatever element you use has a transparent background. If it has not got a transparent background, you need to go into the cutout studio and get rid of it yourself. Now mine has a transparent background, and to check that, if you simply move your head towards the edge of the paper, you can see there is no white box behind it. So I know I've got the right object there. Once I'm ready and I've got my training ready to be used, I'm going to click my hat and I'm going to drag it into stencils training. And that is where it gives me my first stencil. Okay. Now, sometimes my craft artist works a bit funny, and when it does, I just change the zoom and the hat comes back if it stays out of the picture when I drag it into stencils. Now, the next step is I need to get rid of the bottom part of my hat to have my next layer. There are two ways of doing this that I can talk about. One would be going into Cutout Studio and just get rid of the flap that is underneath. That's the hat bit. The other way, to show you something different, I'm going to zoom in again, because I want to see what I'm doing, and I'm going to use the eraser tool. And with the eraser tool, it gives you a circular, square, or a diamond shape nib. So you can choose the size. I personally like to work with a circular one. So I'm going to just start moving my cursor to delete the bit I do not require. Now I can keep going. I've got quite a steady hand, or so I say, and I can keep going. However, if you have a problem or a dexterity problem, or you can't do it straight because you have not been used to doing it, all you need to do is a little bit at a time. So if I go there and just go down there, that's one bit. And then I might go there and say, oh, it's another bit. And you do it a bit at a time, so that if anything goes wrong and you need to undo, it only undo the little bit that you did last. Not have done it all, come to the end, and then you need to undo because you made a mistake. So I'm going to carry on doing a bit more of this. I need to clean it to show you the next step. So bear with me just 1 second. If I'm doing it for myself, or for a job, I would very much do it slower and I zoom further in. But this is for training, so I'm going to go a bit fast. Otherwise, the video will be too long. So that's cleared it, done. And that's my second layer of the hat. So now I select on the select tool, and I take my hat and drag it into the stencil area. Now I need to get rid of this bit of the flap, leaving the ribbon end above. So again, with the eraser tool, this is much easier because it's a straight line. I'm going to go there. And I'm going to select the eraser tool going all the way around. Like so. And I find we don't always need to use this bit. However, if we have it, we might need it. So I might decide I want a different top of my head. I might decide I want a plain top of my head. So I could use it if I needed to. It's only just throwing it into the stencils to create one. Very simple. So now I need the ribbon on its own. So I'm going to go above the ribbon and delete the top part of the head. And my stenciling will be ready. I did it quick because I don't want to be too long doing this. So again, I'm going to now drop it. Drop it in there. And I can get rid of everything. I'm going to bring my page zoomed out again. And I'm going to bring in my first head. So that's the bottom layer. Now, if you want to have a line going round the outside of your shape, then I would recommend that you will take a box, draw a box, give it any color you want to use. This is even so that if your head has, let's say, a color or some space between the flowers, you might want it like so, so that the blue will then look, will show rather than an empty white area. And I'm gonna lift my stencil. Now I've got my head ready there. I would like to have a black line on it. So I'll have a bit of contrast. And I want it like so. Now the next step is, I'm gonna go and bring my stencil back in. The same stencil I used before. I'm gonna place it right on top. And if I want the black line to show, I'll just nudge it slightly upwards. And I'm ready. Gonna move it slightly to this side, like so. And if I'm happy with that, I'm gonna bring in my flowers. Now when I bring a flower in and start placing my flowers on, let's do them slightly smaller. I can place them under my stencil. And again, I can resize them. I'm going to leave a little bit of room with white. So you see why I did the blue one, if I wanted to have that little bit of blue in between. If I wanted it white, then I'd leave it completely white. And I'm going to place that one there. So now I'm happy with my first layer, for instance, and I click to lift my stencil. Now I've got my first part of the head. If I highlight everything and group them together, that is done and ready. If I did the outside line on the flowery bits, so I did the flowers and the line, I would get a line round every piece of flower. So you can have that as well. Experiment with it. You can do all sorts. Now I need my next, before I do my next part of the head, I'm going to change. Make sure it's grouped. I'm going to change it. If I show you this one, can you see I did the light color here, transparency, so that my head shows as if you've got the dark color at the front, on the outside, and the inside is the shaded color, like material would be. So to do that, I'll take my hat, I'm going to go into colors, and I'm going to say, I want it lighter. So I'm going to make it lighter. And I'm happy with that. Okay. Now that I'm ready, if I wanted, I've got the black line. However, it doesn't show at the moment because it's very light. And I've also got the flowers on top of it. But that, let's see. Yeah, we've got it there. That's fine. I'm going to leave it like so. Now on the next level, I can do similar things. So if I go into here, take my next part of the hat, drag it on top of there. For the first one, I'm going to do the same as I did before. Draw my box, give it the same color, something like that. If you want the exact same color, I'd use the color picker to pick it up and do that one, and do it also on the inside of the hat. Once you're ready, actually I'll leave that with black. It's important for what I want to do. And I'm going to lift my stencil. So now I've got my next part of the hat. I could, if I want the black, I'd do my black line, make sure it can be seen. And now I've got the line that's going to separate it from the other part of the hat. I'm going to bring in, I could do it a little bit thicker if I wanted to. So if I tick on here, then it will show a little bit more. I'm going to bring in my stencil again. Place it on top. Nudge it slightly upwards because I want that line to stay there, that black line. And I'm going to see if my flowers will now hide it or not. So I'm going to do my flowers. And when I'm happy with how I've placed them, I just lift my stencil. And can you see I now got my next part of the hat ready. I like to keep them together, so I'll group them together, and that's my next bit ready. The third part, I can do the top bit, but I'm happy with the hat as it is, so I'm going to go and bring in my ribbon. Now the ribbon, don't know why, it always go bigger, much bigger, so you need to then resize it to match the size of the hat that you have. Something like that. Now the next step I've got is to choose what color ribbon I want. So I could have yellow, I could maybe want a white one. So now it's the colors. So I could go for yellow. Oh, sorry, I need a box to go over it. And then I might say, you know, I want to try yellow. That looks quite nice actually. Or I might want a greeny one. But I like the yellow, actually it looks quite nice for me, in my eyes that looks quite okay. So I'm gonna go for the yellow and I lift my stencil. I go for select tool and lift my stencil. I now got a nice ribbon over my hat. Now I haven't got one, so I'm gonna go and quickly bring one in. I'm gonna go and bring a bow from one of my digikits. I'm just quickly going to look through to find a bow. Bear with me just 1 second. That would be a nice bow I could use. Let's see if I find a yellow one. It should be much better, but it doesn't matter. I can change the color. So I brought a bow in and I place it, brought a bow and I'm gonna place it on there. Okay, if I wanted to, I could pick up, I'll show you what you can do because I just had the idea. I could easily pick up the color from the ribbon and then color my ribbon the same. Or another thing you could do, if you change this, convert to curve the bow, it will then give me that color in here. So if I take a little, if I take this item, let's see if I can, let's do this. If I take a piece of material, it's not gonna give me that. I was thinking of getting this bit, I could. If I did that, I don't even need to do that. Hold on a second. What you can do, I'm trying to do it the same because I quite like that bow, and when I saw it I thought I'm going to use it. So if I copy that bow, Control C, Control V, I could erase that bit. So I got a piece of ribbon. And now if I wanted to, I can make this ribbon bigger, turn it round like that. And with my stencil, this stencil, I place it there. And I say, I want to crop to bottom. And now I've got my stencil that looks like my bow. And I've got my design there. That was all improvisation. It's just because I saw this and I thought, that might look quite nice actually. It's entirely up to you. If you wanted to, those two, you can give them a solid line round them so that they can be easily seen. It's entirely up to you. Actually, I'll do it on there, but I won't do it on the other one. And I'll do the color in green, the line color in green. I think it looks better. But I'll take the color out of here. Let's leave it like that. So there's my hat with the items that I have. When I finished my tutorial, one of the ladies said, but the hat you showed us had a little bit of 3 dimension to it. So I told her, I'll show you how I did that. If I highlight everything and group them as one, I can go into my styles, select something like bevel, and in bevel there is one which is embossed. If I did that, now I've got my embossed hat. I hope you find this somewhat useful for you. If you have any questions, please do comment underneath the hat, underneath this video actually, so that I can help you with any questions if they arise. On the other hand, if you do like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. That will encourage me to do you some more videos and tutorials. I hope you are enjoying this. Please do speak to me, let me know, and thumbs up. If you have not already done so, please do subscribe to enable me to do some more videos for you. Thank you very much for listening. I hope it was useful, and till the next one, bye-bye.